Okay, we are supposed to learn the geometric properties or special properties of parabola today, for which I have drawn the setup. Red dotted is a parabola. I am considering any point P on parabola and drawing tangent over there. S is focus, the tangent intersects x-axis at T. Foot of perpendicular from P on x-axis is N. Foot of perpendicular from P on directrix is M. Normal at P intersects x-axis at G, and V is our vertex. So if this parabola is y square is equal to 4ax, then S is a comma 0. Equation of directrix is x plus d is equal to 0. This much information we already have. Now property number 1. फटाफट तुम्ही आता हे प्रूव्ह करायला लागायचे. Okay, you are supposed to prove this very quickly. Subtangent is bisected at vertex. Now subtangent is projection of tangent segment from P to where it intersects x-axis. Projection of that segment on x-axis. So in this diagram, subtangent is Tn, and you are supposed to prove that V is midpoint of Tn. V is midpoint of Tn. One by one, I give you a few minutes to do that. This is very simple. If coordinate of P is say x comma y, then we know the tangent at P okay, let me put it x dash comma y dash, otherwise variable and constant will not be differentiated. So y dash is equal to 2a into x plus x dash. That is our tangent, and we want that tangent to intersect x-axis, is y is equal to 0. So 0 is equal to 2a into x plus x dash. Therefore, x is equal to opposite of x dash. And hence, origin is a midpoint. Therefore, V is a midpoint of Tn, because n is x dash comma 0, and this is opposite of x dash comma 0. Okay, z is opposite of a comma 0. Understood? Second, subnormal is of constant plane. Equal to subnormal is ng. Find out length of subnormal. Okay. Now we know the tangent, and therefore we know the slope of tangent. What is the slope of tangent? Y is equal to mx. So 2a upon y dash. 2a upon y dash is the slope of tangent. Therefore, slope of normal is y dash upon 2a with negative sign. So y minus y dash is equal to y dash upon 2a minus sign into x minus x dash. That is one way of drawing tangent. I mean, you know many more ways of doing it, but I just do it by perpendicularity, and then I put y is equal to 0, and therefore I get minus 2ay dash is equal to minus y dash x plus y dash x dash. I don't know whether this will lead to something. X y dash is equal to y dash x dash plus 2ay dash. बरोबर, त्यामुळे y dash गेला तिन्हीकडनं. आधीच का गेला नाही, जाऊ ठीक गेला, minus y dash. Now what you get is x is equal to x dash plus 2a. X is equal to x dash plus 2a. So x coordinate of G is x dash plus 2a and n is x dash. Therefore, length of subnormal is always 2a. Oh, this is independent of point P. This is good because it is independent of point P that you choose. Every time it is going to be 2a. That is good part. If the parabola is y square is equal to 4a, subnormal is 2a. Okay. Now before I write the next property, use technology to pan this parabola down. Let me check. I have to master this also. But I should stop recording. Ray parallel, property number 3. Ray parallel to the axis, ray parallel to the axis of symmetry. After reflection, through parabola, passes through focus. Okay, let me explain. Now, of course, you are not supposed to put the ray from the so-called outside parabola. You are supposed to put your ray like this. This is your ray. Suppose it hits point P on parabola, and parabola is a mirror. Mirror like this. I don't want to disturb my parabola. Make it mirror only at this side and this side. Okay, parabola is a mirror from inside. Then every ray which comes parallel to x-axis hits the parabola at whatever point, gets reflected and passes through focus. That is what is parabola. Prove it. Okay, to prove this, maybe geometrically it is more easy and fast. So first prove that quadrilateral PMTS is rhombus. Check. We know that PM is equal to PS, and PM distance wise, if you see up to this point, because this is y axis, the distance is x dash, and from V to Z it is A, so A plus x dash is the distance PM or PS. And now you will observe here from S to T is also A plus x dash. Therefore, PM is equal to PS is equal to ST. That means, and it is a parallelogram. Yes, now I can say because TS is equal to PM, TS is equal to PM by seventh property of parallelogram, which is if one pair of opposite side is congruent and parallel, it is parallelogram. PMTS is a parallelogram and its three sides are equal, therefore it is rhombus. Then we have many properties there, but at the moment if it is rhombus, then this angle is alpha, this angle also will be alpha. These two angles are equal. Then this angle also will be alpha, and we can prove it rhombus by some other method also, but this is what it is. And now what we are interested in is, suppose we extend this side vertically opposite, then these two angles are also alpha alpha, and hence angle between tangent and incident ray is also alpha. Therefore, ray to x-axis after hitting the parabola at point P, angle of incidence, angle of reflection alpha will pass through focus. This is optic property. Optic. Now, if you remember the stories of Newton, he has used parabolic mirrors. म्हणजे इकडे समुद्रात कुठेतरी शत्रू आहे, त्याचं जहाज आहे, असं एक येत आहे तुम्हाला मारायला, तुम्हाला मारायला एक जहाज येत आहे शत्रूचं, आणि मग सीशोरला इकडे सीशोर आहे, हा कुठे आता सीशोर कसा काढायचा, हा सीशोर आहे, इथे जमतो समुद्र आणि इथे सीशोर सुरू होतो स्ट्रेट लाईन. ओके, इकडे न्यूटन आहे बसलेला, आता ते शत्रू येणार मारायचा, तर ते काय, व्हॉट ही यूज टू डू इज he used to create a parabolic mirror and adjust it in such a way that all sun rays that are received, sun rays are almost parallel after reflection, after reflection all these sun rays used to pass through focus, and focus is adjusted such that focus is at the where the ship is. So suddenly, because of solar energy, the enemy used to get burnt out completely, because power of sun rays, if there, I don't know whether you have played with that those lenses in the childhood or not, but only this much diameter lens, if put under sun ray, it gets, I mean, they all the rays pass through a point, and if you concentrate that point on a piece of paper, paper starts burning. So imagine, I mean, it is not parabola, only property of काय बहिर्गोल भिंग आम्ही म्हणायचो लहान असताना, आणि काय पानं जाळा, कागद जाळा, काय काय जाळत सुटायचो लहान असताना, ऍडजस्ट केलं की काही क्षण. You assume parabolic mirror, every parallel ray getting in the parabolic will be reflected through the focus, and if you adjust that focus, in no time enemy is destroyed. That is great.
सर तो न्यूटन नाही आर्किमेडीज होता ना.
आर्किमिडीज, हा म्हणजे आर्किमिडीजच्या नंतर न्यूटन, म्हणजे त्या दोघांपैकी एकाच्या खांद्यावर बसून दुसऱ्याने केलं असेल, आर्किमिडीज असेल, मला एक्झॅक्ट माहित नाही, पण आतापर्यंत मी न्यूटनच सांगत होतो सगळ्या लोकांना, चेक करायला हरकत नाही हिस्ट्रीमध्ये. But the idea is this property, parabolic mirror, optic property. Okay. Next property. Tangents at the end of focal chord intersect at right angles on the directrix. We have done this, but let us write, or tangents at the end of focal chord intersect at right angles. On the directrix. Okay. Now we have done this algebraically in the first lecture. Now let me just modify the diagram. Because it is focal chord, it is supposed to get extended here like this. This is our P dash. Okay. Then it is a bad diagram. because P dash S P dash should be equal to P dash M, but now you have to bear with me because I cannot change the diagram. They are same. S P dash is equal to P dash M dash, and then if P dash, whatever the P dash x coordinate is, x double dash comma y double dash, this is yet another rhombus that you are going to get. It's going to be a rhombus here, and this is our T dash, where the tangent at P dash will intersect x axis. Okay, so S P dash M dash T dash is yet another what, rhombus, and then if you extend this T dash and this, then it is supposed to intersect here. What, tangent at P dash and tangent at P are supposed to intersect on the directrix, and that too at 90 degree. You are supposed to think a geometric proof for this with this diagram. Okay, as far as this alpha property that we have discovered at point tangent at point P, similar property will exist at P dash. Therefore, we can say that this angle is beta is going to be equal to this angle beta, correct? And therefore, the P dash M dash is parallel to PM. P dash M dash is parallel to PM. Therefore, 2 alpha plus 2 beta is equal to 180. Interior angles implies alpha plus beta is equal to 90, and therefore P dash K is perpendicular to tangent at P, implies P dash K is perpendicular to PT. Half the work is done, they are perpendicular. Why should they be on directors? The hint is join KS. That is how I think I have solved. You might have some better method which we will learn. Give you 2-3 more minutes to think. Using this KS, can you arrive at the conclusion? Suppose tangent at P dash intersects directrix at K dash, some other point. Okay. You observe that PMKS, quadrilateral PMKS is a kite. Implies Km is equal to Ks. Or you can say PT is a perpendicular bisector of segment SM, because P is equidistant and T is also equidistant from S and M. Maybe you can, anyway, someday or the other we have to join that. We have to join this. We have to join this. And in that point is also important. Okay. So as far as segment MS is concerned, P and T are equidistant. Therefore, tangent at P is a perpendicular bisector of MS, and hence this tangent intersects at K. Therefore, Km is equal to Ks. Okay. Similar property, quadrilateral P dash M dash K dash S is kite, and therefore, if possible, that other tangent P dash T dash intersects directrix at K dash, then we get the relationship K dash S is equal to K dash M. And then what do we do? Okay, I think we will use these two things that we have, and therefore somehow we have to show k is equal to k dash. Now, because PMKS is a kite, measure angle KSP is equal to 90. Because P dash, M dash, K dash, S is a kite, measure angle K dash, S, P dash is equal to 90, and they are same, I mean. So therefore, on the directrix we have 2 points. On directrix we have 2 points, K and K dash, which are perpendicular to PP dash at S. Contradiction. Therefore, K must coincide. Good. That is how we will conclude it. Geometrically, that is how it is. Property number 5. Circle with focal radius. Circle with focal radius as diameter. Touches the tangent at vertex. Touches the tangent at vertex. Now, what is focal radius? Focal radius is SP. SP is focal radius. SP dash is a focal radius. What we are supposed to show that circle as SP as a diameter will be tangent to this line, y-axis. Tangent at vertex means y-axis. Okay, try to prove it. Now SM and PT are diagonals of rhombus. SM and PT diagonals of rhombus, and therefore they are perpendicular, right? Say if there is a name to this point y. So major angle PYS is 90. Therefore, y is on semicircle with diameter SP. Implies y belongs to semicircle with SP as diameter. Okay. Now, you draw a parallel line to x-axis from this point. It intersects SP at Q. Okay. Then by midpoint theorem, Q is midpoint of PS. By converse of midpoint theorem, Q is midpoint of PS. त्यामुळे झालं, and QI is equal to 1/2 x dash plus a. QI is equal to half x dash plus a, half of PS. QI is half of PS implies tangent. हाँ madam. Okay, one of our student is saying that the angle VYS, major angle VYS is equal to alpha because it is rhombus. A couple of other angles are also equal. In fact, that angle, this angle is beta and this angle is beta because these two are parallel lines, perpendicular to the same line. Therefore, they are beta beta, and therefore VYS is equal to alpha, and by tangent secant theorem, that is pure geometry, because here I had used coordinate geometry, and if we use coordinate geometry, things are very easy. But using pure geometry and proving it is more interesting by tangent secant theorem. Y-axis is tangent to circle, not by tangent secant but converse of tangent secant. Circle PYB. Good. Property number 6. Circle with focal chord as a diameter. Circle with focal chord, that is PP dash, as diameter touches directrix. Circle with focal chord as a diameter touches the directrix. I think it is going to be the same reason. This angle is alpha now, and again by tangent secant property, it is one and the same. Okay, same. Tangent secant is helping us. Now which angle is alpha? Angle M dash K P dash is equal to alpha. Therefore, so focal radius is SP and focal chord is PP dash by converse of tangent secant theorem proved. Next, property number 7. P1, P2, if P1, P2, P3 are the feet of conormals, conormal points, then centroid of triangle P1, P2, P3 lies on x-axis. Now again, this is done earlier. If you remember, we have discussed it yesterday. That, but you can, shall I give you time? No. Sum of the slopes is equal to 0. So centroid is going to be on x-axis. Still think about it. We will go to next property in a moment. Conormal means you are taking a point P, say x dash, y dash, somewhere in the interior of parabola from where 3 normals are possible. You draw those 3 normals, they intersect parabola at P1, P2, P3, and the slopes of them will be M1, M2, M3, and it is going to be cubic in M, where coefficient of M square is absent. Therefore, M1 plus M2 plus M3 is equal to 0. We know from that equation, And as far as coordinates of the foot of normal are concerned, a m square comma minus a m to a m. This is the foot of normal. Therefore, if you find out the centroid, x coordinate will be some value, but y coordinate is 2am1 plus 2am2 minus, that means minus 2am3 is equal upon 3 is a y coordinate of centroid is equal to 2a minus 2a upon 3 times m1 plus m2 plus m3, which is supposed to be 0. Therefore, y coordinate of centroid is 0, and hence centroid of triangle P1, P2, P3 lies on x-axis. Is it okay? Problem number 8. Question number 8. Intercept on the tangent. Between the point of contact and where it meets the directrix. Subtends right angle at focus. Who intercept on the tangent between the point of contact and that is we have already proved at K major angle intercept of tangent KSP, that is what it is. Major angle KSP is equal to 90. That is what we are supposed to prove, which I think we have already proved. That is kite. Okay, because of kite. Problem number 9. Foot of altitude from the focus. On the tangent lies on the tangent foot of altitude from the focus on the tangent lies on the tangent at the vertex. Foot of altitude from the focus on the tangent fluid. Okay, this implies that the focus lies on the circumcircle. This is important, na? That the focus lies on the circumcircle the focus lies on the circumcircle of triangle determined by 3 tangents. To the parabola. Now you think about what does it imply? It implies foot of altitude from focus on the tangent lies on the tangent at vertex. Okay, so that is what this is, the property which we have discussed. Foot of perpendicular on any tangent from focus lies on tangent at vertex at this point, and this implies that the focus lies on the circumcircle of triangle determined by the three tangents to pair. You draw any three tangents from anywhere, you will get a triangle, and if you draw a circumcircle of that triangle, then focus will lie on that. Interesting. It has something to do with what we have studied in the workshop of 9th standard, and it is converse of Simpson line theorem. Simpson line, if you happen to draw foot of perpendicular from the circumcircle of triangle ABC, then those DEFs are collinear, and the line joining DEF is called Simpson line. This is Simpson line theorem. And converse is, if you happen to have a situation which is exactly opposite from a point, if you draw perpendicular on the three sides of a triangle, and if they happen to be collinear, then your point lies on circumcircle of that triangle, right? This is converse of Simpson line theorem, which is there in our 9th standard workshop, and you can Google search Simpson line Subodh Pete, you will get the lecture. And therefore, in this situation, we have got only one tangent, and we have dropped foot of perpendicular from S onto that tangent, and we get that point on vertex, tangent at vertex. It will happen for every tangent, and therefore all these feet of perpendiculars from S are collinear, and therefore whatever that triangle is formed by the tangents, if you happen to draw circumcircle of that triangle, of course P is a part of that circle, part of that circle, focus is a part of circle, and that is why that Simpson line theorem was taught to you in 9th standard. This is a correct time to use Simpson line theorem. Okay, and therefore this is because of Simpson line. Otherwise it is extremely difficult to prove at this stage using coordinate geometry also. Okay, now let me check whether I can use the same diagram and have some description on the other side, because this is becoming too long. Done. Can you tell me what is focal distance? Property number 10. Find focal distance, which is SP. If P is x dash comma y dash, how much is SP? Easy. Show me. We know SP is equal to PM, and PM is easy to calculate, therefore it is x dash plus A. Focal distance is always x dash plus A in parabola. Okay. Semilatus rectum, property number 11. Now I take it little up, property number 11 here, and I make it little large because I have to use this diagram again. Property number 11, semilatus rectum. Is the harmonic mean SP and SP dash. Harmonic mean is take reciprocal, take average, take reciprocal. That is harmonic mean. To that, semi-lattice rectum is a harmonic mean of SP and SP dash. You may do it algebraically, you may do it geometrically. Okay. Algebraic. Algebraic method. P is a t1 square comma 2a t1. Okay. And therefore, P dash is going to be, in terms of T1, can we write P dash? T1, T2 is equal to minus 1. Huh? If it is T2, then it is T1, T2 is minus 1. Therefore, A upon T1 square, comma, minus 2A upon T1. Is it going to be P dash? I think so. Coordinates of P dash. Good. So SP is equal to x dash plus a. Therefore, SP is equal to a t1 square plus a. SP dash is equal to a upon t1 square plus a. Now we are supposed to take harmonic mean of this. So take reciprocal. So 1 upon, we can say this as a inside bracket 1 plus t square. Now let me write t, only one parameter, and a inside bracket 1 plus 1 upon t square. Correct? Yes. So now we are supposed to take reciprocals. So 1 upon a into 1 plus t square plus 1 upon a into 1 plus 1 upon t square. That is, take reciprocal, take average, and take reciprocal. That is what is your harmonic mean. Now let us simplify a little bit. So it is a pure algebraic game. I have a little less space here, so let me simplify this orally. This is t square plus 1, and numerator it is going to be t square. I ignore this t square and I make it look like this. Therefore, denominator I am get a 2a into 1 plus t square. That is my denominator. And I have numerator 1 plus t square and raised to minus 1. It is as simple as that. This is pure algebraic method of doing it. Secondly, can you tell me what is the coordinate of m dash? M dash. Because this was x coordinate of m dash is a, and minus a, sorry, and y coordinate of m dash is y coordinate of p dash minus 2a upon p. Okay. Coordinates of v. Now I think these are last properties, therefore I can destroy this diagram. 0, 0 v, and what are the coordinates of p? P are a t square comma 2a t. Okay. Now what we want to show here is basically m dash v p, they are collinear. Then you have this trapezium. Diagonals intersect at v, suppose. Then already we know that this distance is 2a, a plus a. I mean, this is a and this is a. So this is 2a, we already know. if we prove m dash vp by the property of trapezium, which is, this is pm, this is p dash m dash, and property of trapezium is 1 upon a is equal to 1 upon m is equal to plus 1 upon p dash m dash. That means this is half of this total segment. Okay, that is the property which already we have proved several times in trapezium. Therefore, if I prove that m dash, v and p are collinear, similarly m, v and p dash are, of course, automatically they will also become collinear, and this by this configuration we can say that Zs is harmonic mean of pm and p dash m dash. So this part is remaining, and therefore I have got the coordinates. Therefore I find out slope of m dash v. Slope of m dash v is minus 2a upon t upon minus a, which is equal to 2 by t. That is the slope of m dash v. And what is the slope of p? pv is question mark 2at upon at square, that is pv, which is equal to 2 upon t. Yes, therefore they are collinear, therefore it is semilattice rectum is harmonic mean of ps and p dash s. Next property, property number 12, poles of focal chords lie on directrix. If you happen to draw, so in terms of polar, you have to look at p dash and I think maybe k. Is it easy? Because perpendicular tangents intersect on directrix. Basic definition of chord of contact. So p dash is a chord of contact which happens to be polar up point k, and therefore if you happen to draw any focal chord, if you consider it as chord of contact, tangents at the extremity of that focal chord will go and intersect on directrix. We have already seen this property, and therefore this is done. I think this is done. If you assume polar, poles of focal chord that is over polar, it is supposed to lie on directrix. Done. 13th. Let the tangent and normal to the parabola at P meet the x-axis at T and G. Prove that ST is equal to SG is equal to SP. SP is x dash plus A. All these three distances are x dash plus A. Everything is available and hence proved. Okay. There is a complete Pythagoras here. S happens to be the midpoint of this triangle TSG, not midpoint, circumcenter. TSG, this is 90 degree here. So many geometric properties in parabola. Okay, we are done with it. Then okay. Now we are supposed to eventually do general parabola also. We will learn simultaneously. When we do ellipse and hyperbola in standard form, we will study properties of ellipse and hyperbola also in standard form, and then we will deal with General position parabola, general position ellipse, general position hyperbola together. If degree 2 equation in x and y is given to you and you are asked to find out specific properties of that conic section, which we don't know what conic section is, we will identify what conic section it is and report all parameters related to that. That study we will do in the end once we finish ellipse and hyperbola properties also. Now, most important is we are doing only one kind of parabola where three more kinds of parabola also exist. We have done y square is equal to 4ax. Y square is equal to minus 4ax also will exist, opening to the left, focus at minus a, something like that, and all the properties, corresponding properties will be true. Why geometric properties are important for parabola is geometric properties are existing because of the nature of the parabola, and if they are true in standard form, they are true in general. Even if parabola is tilted, origin is shifted, still geometric property, optic property will be true for all parabola, wherever it exists. Therefore, geometric properties are important. Many problems can be solved using geometric properties. Therefore, not only you should remember the proofs of these properties, but you should remember the properties themselves. Because suddenly these properties will be useful for problems. Number one. Number two, you are supposed to be conversant with opening left parabola, opening up parabola, opening down parabola, and what are the changes, corresponding changes. What is equation of tangent in terms of slope for x square is equal to 4by. You need to know. Even what I will suggest is you should learn by heart all the properties of y square is equal to 4ax and you must remember them. And then while studying, if you do it for x square is equal to 4by, then how things change in vertically opening up parabola compared to opening right parabola in standard form, only that many things you are supposed to remember. You need not remember all the parameters, put a perpendicular, contact point, all those parameters, auxiliary equation for vertical parabola. But if it comes to finding out those things, you should be able to do it very quickly by using the properties and formulae for horizontal opening right parabola. Very important. Okay. Now, based on what we have done today, let me give you couple of constructions. Now, because we have new geometry with us, I can always give you a construction problem. Let me check whether I have written it somewhere. Okay, first construction is given parabola, nothing else. Construct focus directrix axis. Of given parabola. Do you understand this question? Just a sketch of parabola is given to you and it is said that it is parabola. You are supposed to find everything about that parabola geometrically. This parabola is given to you, so you draw two parallel chords, take their midpoints, join them. This is one of your diameters, and we know diameters are parallel to axis of symmetry, and hence you draw two perpendicular chords to this diameter that you got, any two, and then take their midpoints. That is supposed to be your axis of symmetry. This is axis of symmetry. So you know where the vertex is. Good. So once you got axis of symmetry, we need focus and directrix now. What is the fastest method to get? You can draw perpendicular line here. Okay. And then how do you arrive at focus and directrix? So you don't know how to draw tangent, huh? You cannot draw tangent. But then what we can do is, to these parallel chords at this point I can always draw tangent which is parallel to these parallel chords. So I know how to draw tangent at any point. Suppose I deliberately draw parallel chords looking like this, then I get locus of midpoint, and hence that locus of midpoint will be like this. And at this point, with this slope, I can always draw tangent. Okay. And then with some properties that we have already seen, we know the point P now. We know where it intersects. From the point where it intersects vertex, you draw perpendicular, it will pass through focus. You get focus, you get directrix. Very sorry. समझते का बगा? Maybe I will spell out once more. Draw any two parallel chords. Find out their midpoints. Join that line. That is the diameter of parabola, but need not be axis of symmetry. Therefore, you draw two parallel chords to diameter, bisect them, and then draw the line that is your axis of symmetry. You know vertex, so you can draw tangent at vertex. The parallel chords that you have drawn, where the diameter intersects the parabola, at that point, if you draw line parallel to parallel chords, that is what is your tangent to that curve. And that tangent intersects tangent at vertex. You know that point, and from that point, if you draw perpendicular, it will pass through focus. We already seen that property. Once you get focus, you can get directrix. That is what we were asked to find out. So that is what it is. That is construction number 1. Construction number 2, you have been given a parabola. You have been given a parabola and you have been given a point P. Construct tangents from P to the given parabola. Construct tangents from P to given parabola. Okay. Thank you. That is the end of this lecture.